Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new Player of the Week selection on eFootball. We've also got a Champions League Player of the Week pack. I'll be reviewing that one in a separate video. I've already done a quick summary of the new update because we've got an update on the game this morning. That video is up on the channel already. As always, I'll be putting timestamps in the description for this pack review. So if there's a particular player you want to hear about, just click the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So let's have a look at who we've got this week. 2 4-stars. We'll start with Rodrigo Muniz from Fulham. He's starting to find his feet at Fulham, it seems. So yeah, this is a decent version of Muniz. They've made him a poacher. He's normally a fox in the box, so this version of him is a goal poacher. This is just one of these cards. We've had a few of them recently where he's a goal poacher with not a lot of pace. I don't personally think that's a good combination, because a goal poacher is going to play off the shoulder of the last defender. He's going to be constantly looking to run in behind the defence, but he's not particularly quick. So that's the first concern I've got. This is the first feature version we've had, so if you're a Fulham fan and you're looking to get a nice version of him, you'll be pleased if you get this guy. In terms of his skills, they've given him one-touch pass, through passing, and aerial superiority. He's already a super sub. He's already got first-time shot, acrobatic finishing, and heading, so he's got all the skills you really need for a centre forward, and he's a super sub on top, which is nice. So a good section of skills there. Not great on the ball, so he's not the quickest. He's not great on the ball, but the important one's really for a poacher. If you're not too bothered about the pace, the awareness is decent, the finishing's decent, and he's okay in the air. He's got 80 heading, 80 jumping, 79 physical. He's about 6'1", and he's got aerial superiority. So he's all right in the air. He'll be capable of scoring a few goals from crosses, but he won't be dominant in the air by any means. He will be in the right place at the right time to a fair extent, but even with that said, you know, the awareness and finishing is not brilliant, and that lack of pace again does concern me a bit. So he's kind of an okay centre forward. You know, if you want a poacher to just be in the right place at the right time, he can score goals. He's got the kind of, you know, decent attributes and a very good skill set in the important areas. But like I say, he's a bit slow. He's not great on the ball. So on the whole, for me, it is a 4-star card, obviously, but it's not a particularly interesting one. I think I'd probably release this guy if I got him. Our other 4-star this week, Lejeune. So I want this guy for my Newcastle past and present squad. He's a build-up centre-back. That's his normal playing style. What they've done, I mean, if you look on the whole, this is a 4-star card, but he's fairly solid defensively. He's got pretty average pace for a centre-back. He's not the quickest. Aerially, jumping's not brilliant, but he's 6'2". He's got 87 physical. If you look at the skills, he's got aerial superiority. So he's all right in the air as well. Other skills, interception, man marking, blocker, acrobatic clearance, sliding tackle. I think the only one he really needs is heading. 78 for heading, so his heading's not brilliant, but that's not the most important one. I think his skill set's pretty good on the whole. His passing's decent for a centre-back. There's no real weakness there, to be honest. I think he's pretty solid across the board. Nothing spectacular, nothing really stands out, nothing amazing, but a pretty solid centre-back, I think, on the whole. From his base card, his speed's had a bit of a boost. His passing likewise, but his defensive attributes on the whole, they've actually been slightly decreased from his base card. If you got his base card and you trained out to the maximum and went with the auto allocation, the defensive attributes are actually a little bit better on the whole. So yeah, that's the one disappointment with this card really. But if you look at it in isolation, on the whole, like I say, I don't see any real weakness, and I think for a 4-star centre back, it's a pretty solid card, to be honest. Now on to the 5 stars. Fred scored twice with Fenerbahce against Trabzonspor. So, yeah, interesting card this. They've boosted his balance, his physical contact, his jumping, and his ball control a little bit. They've all had a nice boost. Apart from that, not a lot's really changed from his base card. The one concern with Fred, always seems to be the case with every version of him, his attack awareness and his defensive awareness are both pretty low. The defensive will hit 70 with a game plan boost, but having both of those awarenesses low on a box-to-box centre midfielder, he's going to be getting up and down all over the pitch, but he's just not going to be reacting well enough in pretty much any situation. That's a concern for me. Tackling's a little bit low on a box-to-box as well, but outside of that, the aggression and defensive engagement are pretty decent. On the ball, he's tidy enough. Passing is decent enough. He's quite good athletically. He's not a big guy, not by any means. 169 centimeters, and his physical contact's not the highest. Again, that will go 70 plus with the game plan boost, but athletically, he's otherwise decent. Got decent pace for a centre mid. The balance is very good. Stamina's fantastic. Yeah, looking at the skills, they've given him long range shooting, taking away then gamesmanship. Outside of that, one-touch pass, weighted passes, no through passing, bit of a shame, but we've got one-touch pass at least. Outside curlers, nice. Interception, sliding tackle, fighting spirit. He's kind of a decent centre mid on the whole. It's just there are just a few areas where he could be a little bit better. Like I said, the awareness is the big concern for me. Tackling is a little bit on the low side, but he does have some qualities. He's fairly tidy elsewhere. He's quite nippy. He'll be pretty responsive. A small guy with decent pace, balance, and stamina. Yeah, some qualities there. Could be a pretty neat player on the whole, but like I say, with the awareness both going forward and defensively and the tackling not being higher, there are some down points there. So a lot of things to consider with him there, but I think on the whole, he could be a decent centre mid card, just not a brilliant one. We've got Tati Castellanos from Lazio, so we've got a super sub. So that's the only skill they've given him. He's already got heading, acrobatic finishing, aerial superiority, so should be good from crosses on that basis. I don't see first time shot. That's a bit of a shame. Centre forward, that is the most important skill, so no first time shot. Does have long range curler, dipping shot, long range shooting, acrobatic finishing, penalty specialist, and obviously they've given him super sub. So yeah, lacking first time shot. Again, goal poacher, not the quickest. That frustrates me. Not great on the ball again, but attacking awareness and finishing are decent. Passing could be worse, is not brilliant though. Heading 84, jumping 81, physical not too bad. So again, like with Muniz, he's going to be okay from crosses. He's going to be capable of getting on the end of some crosses, but he won't be dominant in the air by any means. There was a previous version of him in a Legend box. I forget how recent that was, but that was better than this. If you got that version of him, you don't need this one. And compared to his base card, not a lot has really changed, but his aerial stats have had a bit of a boost. The heading, the jumping, I think the physical as well. So he'll be a bit better in the air than his base card, and he's a super sub as well. But he is lacking first time shot, and since this is a player of the week card, you can't put any skills on him. So that's a bit of a concern. And like I say, personally, I don't like a goal poacher who's lacking pace. So one or two concerns there for me. But yeah, on the whole, it's kind of similar to Muniz in many ways. A little bit better on the whole. But still, you know, a decent striker, but just not an amazing one. It's not one that really interests me. This is an interesting one. I used to love this guy on back in the PES days as a 3-star left winger. So we've got a fullback finisher version. Left back, he can still play in his normal position as a left winger. He can play wide right as well, but I don't think that's his best position. He is a booster. We'll just activate the booster straight away. So the booster, what do they call it? We've got a passing booster. Low pass, lofty pass, curl, kicking power. Nice. So I think primarily that's going to boost his crossing. He's always been good at crossing, but he's got a nice cross on him now. Again, we get this quite a lot, but I've looked at his base card. If you train his base card to the maximum with auto allocation, his 3 attributes on the ball are 4 better. His ball control, dribbling, and tight possession, they've reduced all those by 4 on a player of the week version. And I appreciate this is a version of him that's playing as a defender instead of a winger, but these cards are based on exceptional performances, and in some ways they make the players worse. I don't get that. It annoys me, but anyway, I've ranted on that before. But yeah, normally a cross specialist. This is a fullback finisher, so as a fullback, he will drift inside and step up into the midfield, try and get involved in the build-up. If you play him left mid or as a wide left or right forward, he won't have an active play style. What else are we looking at? Skills. So skills they've added: through passing and fighting spirit. He's already got 91 stamina, so with fighting spirit, this guy's durable. He'll keep battling away till the end. He already had pinpoint crossing. Like I say, he's got a good crossing. Most versions of him have a good crossing. One-touch pass and through passing. First-time shot, long-range shooting. Finishing 76. So he's got a reasonable shot on him. Not an amazing shot. Don't ask too much of him, but he could pop up with 1 or 2 goals for you. Yeah, they boosted from his base card. They did, like I say, they've nerfed him on the ball, which is very annoying, but they have boosted him defensively. His passing's been boosted as well. Even before the booster's activated, his passing's had a nice boost. The stamina, like I say, is nice. That's been boosted from his base card. They've actually boosted his heading a bit as well. If you're going to play this guy as a left back, keep in mind the fullback finisher playing style. It's not everyone's cup of tea. He has had that nice boost in his defensive attributes, but as we saw when we looked at his skills, loads of nice things going forward, but defensively, nothing. no interception, man marking, blocker, none of that. So if you play him as a fullback, you're going to want him to be playing as a very attacking fullback, and you're not going to be worrying about his defensive ability, because defensively he could be a liability. The awareness and tackling are quite low. He doesn't have any defensive skills, so he's a very, very attacking left back. As a left winger, going forward, he's got a good selection of skills, good pace, great stamina. I don't think he's brilliant on the ball though, but he could be useful. He's certainly got a good cross as a kind of old school left winger. Certainly got a good cross on him, getting up and down the left flank, putting crosses in. I think as a left wing back, if you play a kind of like a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2, you've got a kind of wing back on either side, I think he could be a really good all-rounder to play that role, because he's got great stamina, he's got pretty decent pace, he's got a bit of defensive ability, and he's got a fair amount of attacking ability with the attributes and the skills he's got, especially when he's on A form. So it could be that the best use for this guy is to use him as a wing back, but yeah, like I say, he could be useful anywhere, I think, down the left-hand side. You could play him on the right, but I think with his crossing, you want to get him on the left and make the most out of him. So a very, very attacking left back. I think a very useful left wing back. And as an attacking left winger, again, as a traditional left winger, getting up and down the left foot, putting good crosses in, could be pretty useful. So yeah, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea with the play style and the kind of the skill set that he's got and the type of player he is. But I think for people who like this type of player, he could be a very useful one. Now we've got our first feature version of Sugawara, scored twice for AZ in the Netherlands. So, Sugawara, we'll start with the skills. We have long range curler, first time shot, and outside curler. They've all been added. He's already got through passing and pinpoint crossing. So, attacking, some nice skills there. Defensively, sliding tackle, acrobatic clearance, two nice skills for a fullback, but we don't have interception. Again, that's you know, it's a matter of opinion, but I think most people share that opinion. Interception is the most important skill for fullback, and he's missing it. So it is a shame if you're going to play him as a right back. Can play right mid, can play as a wide right forward. Centre back, defensively is nowhere near strong enough. But yeah, basically down the right flank, either a fullback, a wing back, an attacking right winger. I don't think he's quite good enough on the ball to really play as an attacking player. The low pass is a bit iffy. I think he's really an attacking right back, or he's a wing back. He does have pretty good stamina. They've actually nerfed his lower body attributes a little bit from his base card. His speed, his kicking power, and his stamina all slightly down from his base card if you train his base card to the maximum auto allocation. So that's a bit frustrating, but elsewhere they have boosted him a little bit across the board. His set piece taking has been increased quite a bit, so that's nice if you for free kicks, if you don't have anyone else in the team who's good at free kicks. But yeah, like I say, as an attacking player, I don't think he's quite good enough on the ball. His crossing is good though. He's got pinpoint crossing. He's got through passing as well. The through passing will just compensate for the fact his low pass isn't brilliant, but certainly his crossing should be good. 86 lofted pass, 82 car, kicking power is okay. So he's got a good cross on him. Yeah, similar to Nuno Santos really. If you're going to play him as a right back, you're going to play him as a very attacking right back. You've got to accept that he's not got the best defensive attributes. He doesn't have interception, but certainly when he gets forward, he's got ability, he's got pace, he's got stamina, he's got a good cross on him. As a right winger, he'll be playing as a kind of old school right winger. Again, similar to Nuno Santos, get up and down the right flank, put some crosses in. He's got a good cross on him, but beyond that, not a great deal to him. So yeah, I think there's a very attacking right back, or as a right wing back, could be very useful. And if you like an old school right winger, could be a useful one as well. But on the whole, it's not an amazing card. And yeah, it just depends on whether he's the type of player that suits you with the attributes he's got. He's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but could be a useful one. Got our goalkeeper. I got a 5-star keeper, Jørgensen from Villarreal. It's quite highly rated. He's doing well there, I think. And he's a solid keeper. They've changed him from defensive goalkeeper to an attacking goalkeeper. They've given him a pretty nice boost across the board, except to his jumping, because as we all know, if a goalkeeper plays exceptionally well, he can't jump as well as he normally can. That's Konami logic for you. Yeah, aside from that, he's got low punt. And like I say, he's a pretty good solid keeper. The awareness will go over 90 with the game plan boost. Reflexes and reach won't hit 90, but still pretty high. Catching is good. Parrying is decent. He's about 6'3", so yeah, he's quite tall. Good reach and good awareness and reflexes. Yeah, it's a solid keeper. Not an amazing one, but it's a pretty good one. Now we have an interesting version of Lewandowski. So if you look at this guy statistically, it's not one of the better versions of Lewandowski we've had. We've had a lot of feature versions of Lewandowski, and most of them are higher rated than this. But this is quite interesting. In terms of his attributes, they're pretty similar to his base card, but his passing's had a bit of a boost. His pace has had a bit of a boost as well. And when you hit the booster, because this is a booster version, on the ball he gets a nice little boost as well. So this is a version of Lewandowski. It's actually quite nice technically, and with the pace and with a bit more with the passing, sorry, and a bit more pace about him as well. And if we look at his skills, what they've added: through passing, pinpoint crossing. I don't think many people are going to be getting down the wing with this Lewandowski and putting crosses in, but through passing certainly is a very nice one for a centre forward to have. He's got all the skills you would normally expect of Lewandowski: first time shot, heel trick, acrobatic finishing, shooting, heading, etc. But yeah, through passing especially is a nice addition. And when he's on form, especially on A form, he's pretty comfortable on the ball for a version of Lewandowski. I think most versions of Lewandowski aren't that good on the ball. Depends how you train them, obviously, but yeah, with the attacking awareness, a good enough game plan boost will hit 90. Finishing is already at 90. Heading 84, jumping and physical are okay. Better pace than normal. It's not one of the better versions of Lewandowski statistically, but I think with through passing and with the way they balance his attributes and give him a bit of a boost here and there, especially when he's on A form with the technical boost, I think it's, you know, not the best version of Lewandowski, but certainly one of the more interesting ones. I think it's quite a decent one to pick up. Then we have Vitinha from PSG. So Vitinha has been changed from an orchestrator to a hole player. So that's kind of one extreme to the other, really, as a centre midfielder. Orchestrator, he'll just kind of loiter around in the middle of the park and just look to play make from deep. Hole player, he's going to want to bomb forward at every opportunity, especially if you play him attacking midfield. That player style will be active in both those positions. The first thing I noticed, he's not the quickest, 71 speed. They've actually put his lower body attributes down a little bit. Like with Sugawara, his speed, his kicking power, stamina, all slightly lower than his base card. I don't know why they would do that. Across the board, though, everywhere else, he's had a bit of a boost. But yeah, he's not the quickest. Centre midfielder, not a lot of physical contact, not a lot of defensive ability. I think this guy is best used as an attacking midfielder. The attacking awareness is a little bit low, though, especially for a hole player, when you're looking for him to keep bursting in behind defenders, getting into spaces. Attacking awareness, you want that to be a bit higher, so that's a bit frustrating. But technically, really nice. He's really tidy on the ball. He's got really nice passing. Got really good balance as well. He's got a low centre of gravity, 172 centimetres, so he might not be the quickest, but he should be pretty nimble, pretty responsive. If we look at the skills, they've given him long range shooting. That's the only thing they've added, but he's got some nice stuff here. He's got soul control, he's got long range curler as well, heel trick, one touch passing, through passing, weighted pass, outside curl. He's got a nice selection of skills, a real good selection of skills for a playmaking midfielder. Very useful. The finishing's not brilliant, so those shooting skills, I don't know if they'll make too much difference, but like I say, he's kind of built like a playmaker, really. So it's one of these cards where it comes down to the pace. If you like your attacking midfielders to have pace about them, he's probably going to be a bit frustrating for you. He might not be a cup of tea, but if you don't mind the lack of speed, I think he could be great. I think in terms of creating goals, especially on the ball with his passing and the skills he's got, he could be very productive creating goals for you with his through passing. So yeah, depends what kind of attacking midfielders you like, but I do think he's best as an attacking midfielder. The whole player playing style, I think, is a very nice play style to give him. So it's a very interesting version of Vitinha. So if the pace isn't an issue for you, I think this could be a really nice version of Vitinha to pick up. It could be a really nice card. And now we have a player of the week, Valverde. So we've had some higher rated versions of Valverde. This is a decent one though. And like with Vitinha, we have a hole player. So this guy's normally a box to box, but Valverde this time is a hole player. It's a shame we can't play him as an attacking midfielder, but that play style will be active at centre midfield. They've given him a bit of a boost on his attacking awareness, and that suits the whole player playing style nicely, although it could still be a bit higher. His finishing and his physical contact. And if we just have a look at his skills before we go back to the rest of his attributes, what they've added, they've given him no look pass, and they've given him aerial superiority. So this guy now has aerial superiority, which goes perfectly with 58 for jumping. Yeah, and 53 for heading as well. So, I mean, he was awful in the air. Now he's going to be a bit less awful, I guess. But yeah, the rest of his skills, as usual, really. So one touch pass, through passing, they're probably the most important ones for Valverde. Interception, long range curler, dipping shot, long range shooting, acrobatic finishing. So he's got some ability with shooting. With that finishing 75 has a nice boost. And yeah, on the ball, pretty tidy. Passing, decent enough. Defensively, he's not brilliant, but he's kind of okay. But this is a whole player version, so this is going to be a very attacking centre midfielder. Decent pace from centre midfielder. Kicking power is good with a good enough game plan boost. That hits 90. Physical contact will hit 80 with a good enough game plan boost. And stamina's decent. Yeah, it's like I say, it's not the best version of Valverde that we've had, but I think it's an interesting version, making him a whole player. You can play him as a wide right forward, but without pinpoint crossing, I'm not sure he's really going to be his best there as a right footer, wide right. I think centre midfield is where he's at his best as an attacking centre midfielder. Make sure you got at least one player behind him in the midfield doing the defensive work, and this guy will do a bit of everything, but especially bursting forward with the whole player playing style. Decent enough on the ball. Decent passing, finishing at 75 with those shooting skills. Yeah, I don't think it's an amazing card, to be honest. I think it's just an interesting version of Valverde that's just a little bit more potent going forward. So yeah, if you're a fan of Valverde, if you like Valverde and you're interested in having a more attacking version of him, I think this is just a great card. But if you're not so keen on that, like I say, it's you can't play attacking mid, so he's going to be a centre midfielder. If you like your centre midfielders to have a bit of everything, get up and down, bit stronger defensively, might not be a cup of tea, but there's a lot of quality with this card, and for a version of Valverde, I think it is very interesting. So yeah, on the whole, it's a good card. And now I finish with a booster Musiala. So when I saw that we were getting a booster Musiala with through passing, I was pretty excited, and I was thinking this is going to be one of those cards that everyone wants, and it does have a lot of qualities. So we've had high rated versions of Musiala. This is a good one though, similar to Valverde. It's not the best version, but it's certainly a good one. They're giving a bit of a boost on his jumping, his stamina, and his finishing. And if we hit the booster, finishing gets even more of a boost. I think they've called it, yeah, shooting. So we've got a shooting booster. So his finishing goes up, his ball control goes up a bit more. We're going to come back to that in a moment. Kicking power goes up a little bit. Physical contact goes up a bit. It's not going to make too much difference, is it, to be honest? We'll have a quick look at his skills. As I mentioned, they've given him through passing and not giving me anything else, though. So one-touch passing, through passing on attacking midfielder, very nice. Super sub. He's already a super sub, so that's a very nice skill to have. First-time shot. It's got long-range curler. Coming in from the left flank onto his right foot, long-range curler, especially with his finishing getting a boost. Very nice. So I think he's very capable playing through the middle and wide left. I don't think I play him centre mid. He can't defend to save his life. But as an attacking midfielder or playing wide left, I think very, very effective. But yeah, like I say, his stats, I mentioned those few that have had a bit of a boost across the board. He's kind of been improved just a little bit everywhere. But as I mentioned with Nuno Santos, we've got the same situation. We've got Jamal Musiala, who I think most people would agree what he's best at is dribbling. He feels great on the ball. They've nerfed his ability on the ball. These three attributes, technical attributes, the ball control, the dribbling and tight possession, on his base card, they're all higher. I think there's something like 97, 93, 94, something like that. Even on A form, they've all had they've all been nerfed. 90, 90, 90. Why would you do that? I mean, these Player of the Week cards, I've said it again, I'm going to keep saying it, but the whole point of a Player of the Week card is it's based on an exceptional performance. It's a player playing at his best, and what he's best at is dribbling. So why make a card based on Musiala at his best with a man of match performance and make him worse at what he's best at? My brain is struggling to process that. It's just so annoying. So I look at this card at first, through passing, booster, cool. This is going to be a really exciting card. And I look at that, the fact they've nerfed his ability on the ball, and I just think, well, why would I bother going for it then? I've got a version of him. There's been quite a few of them, and the one I've got is better on the ball. So I'm just thinking, well, why don't I just keep that? I can train that. I can put skills on that. I can give mine through passing. Yes, this one's had a nice boost to his finishing, and that is a nice boost. But with the dribbling being nerfed the way it has, it just makes the whole card so much less appealing to me. So I think I'll keep my coins to myself as far as this guy's concerned, to be honest. I just don't understand why I keep doing that with these Player of the Week cards. But as I always say, though, if you are going to look at this card in isolation, he's still great on the ball. He's still got really good passing. He's now got through passing. His finishing, especially on A-form, has got a really nice boost. He's quick. He's going to feel really good on the ball. Really good skill set, whether you're playing wide left or through the middle. So is it a good version of Musiala? Yes, definitely. It's a very good version of him. But the fact they've nerfed his dribbling the way they have, I just think that's silly, and it really frustrates me. So it puts me off this card a bit. But putting that to one side, again, looking at it in isolation, it's a really good version of Musiala. So on the whole, I think it's a decent selection again. I think there might be two 4-stars in there, but I think Lejeune's a pretty solid 4-star, to be honest. I'm not so keen on Muniz. I'm not so keen on Castellanos either. Fred, depends on how you feel about the weaknesses there. There are a few weaknesses there, but he is quite decent in a lot of areas. Nuno Santos, Sugawara, very attacking fullbacks who could play as wingbacks very effectively. The goalkeeper is pretty solid. Jørgensen, I think, is not the best version of Lewandowski, but it's a pretty interesting one with what they've done to him. Vitinha, depending on the pace issue, could be a very, very nice attacking midfielder for you. Valverde, very interesting version of him, making the whole player. And then Musiala, they've nerfed his dribbling, but other than that, he is a very good version of him, and it's a boosted version. So yeah, some interesting cards in there. I think for some people it could be a pretty good selection. So yeah, let me know what you think. Hopefully you found that useful. Thank you for watching as always. There'll be more videos coming, like I say. Player faces, Champions League Player of the Week will be coming up today. I'll maybe do a little guide to that position trainer one as well. So yeah, thank you for watching as always. Much appreciated. I'll see you soon.